episode 123 of the Seezus Show. We're back better than ever. I know we took some time away, but had to get everything in order. Obviously, the holidays came up, so I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving break. Got some good grub, and make sure you bless the food and, stated what you were thankful for as well, too. I know I was very thankful and very happy as well. So on episode 122, we covered a couple topics, and it's been so much change that's happened, since then. So obviously the Kyrie Irving suspension, us kind of figuring out if the Nets should blow it up, if he's even worth the drama, the Warriors' struggles, Cam Johnson tearing his meniscus, Pascal Siakam's injury, CP3's injury, Kawhi's progression to return, Cavs being a dark horse, Russ actually coming off the bench, and much more. I'm excited to get into these topics for today as well too, because we got some heat on the way right now. This is episode 123. Like I said, make sure to subscribe on all forms of social media at TheSeezusShow. And without further ado, before we start this episode, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Welcome our co-host, Terrence Whaley.
What up? What's going on, Seezus?
What's good, man? How you been?
Doing good, man. You gotta tell me what you was thankful for, though, dog.
Man, I actually think I wrote it in my notes. It was on like some philosophical shit.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can actually find that.
You got deep on them.
Not too deep. I said this, and I was a little schmacked too. So it may have sounded good in real time, but it's probably trash. So I said what I'm thankful for, but I wanted everyone to kind of think that way. So I said I'm thankful for being able to go through experiences, whether it took a lot from me from a mental, physical, social, and or emotional standpoint. It made me learn and grow to be a better version for myself, for my family, and people I just so happen to inspire. So that's what I said that I was thankful for.
Okay. I see you.
What'd you say you was thankful for?
Honestly, man, first and foremost, I'm always thankful for health, especially, I know we always say like the worst is behind us with COVID, but it's always a blessing to have your health. Number one, I was thankful for that, and then two, man, just like my family. I told my mom, having her do this life transition of moving, having a new job, like all of the advice she's given me as I'm going through that transition, this new chapter in my life. I'm really thankful for her and my brother, someone I look up to. And then my friends and my girlfriend, man, just like they've all just, I feel like, made me a better person just throughout the days. And I think I'm very grateful for having them, and including you too, man. Like, y'all made me better, and y'all keep my head on straight. So that's definitely where I was thankful for this year.
I mean, honestly, it's always great to have a strong support system in your life as well, too.
Yeah.
And my parents were always right growing up when they said, choose your friends wisely, but now it's you are the company that you keep. So keep some good company around you, man. So
for sure.
How's the new crib, man? It looks nice.
New crib is dope. I live in Echo Park now. If any of my ops hear this, you don't know my address, so don't even try it. Echo Park is cool. It's definitely quiet. I get to walk Milo, at the park now. He loves that. And it's the perfect size for me. And shout out to AC, man, air conditioning. Coming from Texas, I don't know what I was doing ever living in a spot with no AC, but
that's crazy.
We back on it. So it's lovely, but thank you for asking.
Yeah, man. I'm still sad about that meal. I think actually there's a soundbite from last episode, but hey, when I move, we gonna make sure. Right, I think I ideally want to move within like the first half of the year next year, since kind of like your similar situation from your previous spot, month to month. So there's no real sense of urgency, but once I get some things in line, I'm definitely gonna test the waters and see what's out there.
For sure. And then speaking of, Thanksgiving and just, meals, man, we definitely got to plan like a little Friendsgiving too next year, man. Just that friendship and like that, that getting together for the holidays is real important. So keep your friendships locked for those people out there that do got Friendsgiving. Keep doing them. That's definitely something I want to see us do.
Honestly, and sometimes it doesn't even necessarily have to be Friendsgiving. We can just literally pick a date in advance and bring some dishes and
break bread.
I like that. All right, so you ready to get into today's hottest topics?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, first and foremost, I just want to say Brittney Griner, man, she's finally freed, and I believe she is now in U.S. soil. Obviously, they had a Russian prisoner exchange. So Russia has freed Brittney Griner in a dramatic high-level prisoner exchange that brings the WNBA star back to the United States after almost 10 months of detention. The swap, made at the time of heightened tensions over the invasion of Ukraine, achieved a top goal for President Joe Biden, but carried a heavy price and left behind Paul Whelan in American jail for nearly 4 years in Russia. Biden tweeted moments ago, I spoke with Brittney Griner. She's safe. She's on a plane. She's on her way home. They had a press conference that also included Brittney Griner's wife, Sherelle, at the Oval Office. And Biden stated, "This is a day we've worked toward for a long time. We never stopped pushing for her release. It took painstaking and intense negotiations. And I want to thank all the hardworking public servants across my administration who worked tirelessly to secure her release as well, too." And then Cheryl, Brittney Griner's wife, also commented, "Today my family is whole, but as you all are aware, there are so many other families who are not whole." Cheryl Griner said, "BG and I will remain committed to the work of getting every American home, including Paul, whose family is in our hearts today as we celebrate BG being home as well, too." And I kind of just want to take a stroll down memory lane. So we said it's been, 10 months? So a timeline for you guys that, were not familiar. February the 17th. She was detained at a Russian airport over some motherfucking weed. And news didn't break until March 5th, so no one was really in the loop. And then after that, on May 3rd, the U.S. considered her wrongfully detained. And then on July 7th, she pled guilty to charges facing her for the weed. And on August 4th, she was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison, which is ridiculous. And then today, December the 8th, she's freed and returned to the U.S. as well, too. My man, Terrence Whaley, what are your thoughts on, her finally being free and what it means, all that other good stuff?
For sure. So before I get into to my point, and obviously my point is going to be very cheerful, I definitely want to give a few shout outs to a few shows that, I tapped into while Brittney Griner was in prison. That kept reminding me that that's, what's going on. Because obviously in America, just as, day-to-day life, you can forget about things. I want to shout out Jalen and Jacoby. It's a show I watched that's on ESPN. It's like a little 30-minute joint, like, kind of in the midday, like way after First Take, but like before, like,
we give the people.
Yeah, you're hip. So yeah, Jalen and Jacoby, they always they made it a part of the programming to like at least like let that be known every show. So they did a really good job. And then also to the WNBA, it took a little while for them to like get the messaging across, but I think once the President Biden, started to put some messaging together, then the WNBA also followed, and I thought that was really great on their side of like continuing to have messaging out there and like continue to have the American people, fight behind this fight. Today I saw a lot of on Twitter, everybody's
Social
always
media.
with the jokes, you know what I mean? It's always like, oh my God, like the trade was imbalanced and stuff like that. That is so like it's there's no place for it in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like Brittney Griner in the end, like we don't really know what she went through. You know what I mean? Like in a Russian prison, like we always hear about like what happens in the what's the joint on Call of Duty called?
The Gulag.
Yes, we be hearing about that. Like I don't know. I mean, obviously she wasn't in the Gulag, but like you'll never know what she went through. So like it's good that she's home. I feel for her wife. You said Cheryl, right? I remember watching. I think she had an interview on NBA Today with Malika Andrews, and that was the first time I saw her and her speak on this situation. So I definitely feel for her, and I'm glad that they are now going to continue to fight other fights. And I think that's noble of them.
Yeah, honestly. And sometimes I'm wondering, like, with the whole politicking situation, like, it feels like it could have happened earlier, but I feel like the U.S. just wasn't willing to give away who they wanted to give away back to Russia as well, too.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to also kind of do a 2-for-1, but didn't necessarily work out. But like you said, I'm happy that she's here because Lord knows what she went through. I saw like a picture of her that kind of surfaced, like her hair was chopped up and everything. I'm like, yo, damn, did they cut her hair off?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Like, was she being abused from a physical and mental standpoint? Like, I can only imagine what she went through, but I'm happy she's back. I'm sure she's going to share a story. And like you said, I'm sure her and her family, WNBA, everyone, apart from the top down, are going to, figure out ways to get, United States citizens back on their soil, honestly, as well, too. So I'm wondering, too, like how much time she's going to need. I don't want to seem insensitive or, pushy or whatever, but I wonder how much time you think she's going to need to, like, get back into the swing of things and whatnot as well, too, because that's not hooping, no action, nothing for, 10 plus months?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely take some time, It'll take some time. But I think I'm not even gonna say if I was her, but I would assume she would maybe like just take a year off just to be back home with her wife. You know what I mean? And then have like private workouts or whatever to get back into shape, and then the following year to try to come out there.
Yeah, you take away your family, your friends, your style of living. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's
and your
Russia.
safe haven.
It's Russia,
it's
dog.
cold.
It's one of the worst. Well, from what I know and what I've seen, now it could be a little propaganda by America, but I've seen Russia looks bad sometimes. It be looking cold, it be looking dark. When they be having it on the movies and stuff, they be making it look like, how they be making the Middle East look. They be putting that filter on the screen and it be looking all freaking dark and gold and like sandy. I'm like, that's how they be making Russia look. So
and it sucks because like the level of income that WNBA players make versus NBA, obviously, like there's a huge disparity. So like a lot of times, a lot of these players have to go overseas, and some well-known players have played, overseas in Russia, and they said they've never had this, situation happen to them before as well too. So that also makes me think like, is that going to be something where we see a lot of our players just be like, yo, F that? Like, it's just something to kind of think about as well too. But happy that you're back, Brittney Griner. Get well, take all the time you need, and we are all here for you no matter what.
For sure.
Moving on from that, the Boston Celtics are the hottest team in the NBA, and I feel like there's no one close. Right now, they're currently number one offense, averaging 120.8 points per game. Number three, field goal percentage at 49.3. Number one in point differential, spanking up ass by plus 8.8 points. Their record is 21-5, best record in the league. They have 6 players in double digits, and they have a leading MVP candidate, what most people might say, in Jason Tatum, and a great running mate in Jaylen Brown as well too. What do you kind of attribute to their success right now, man?
Off the top of my head, right now it's just chemistry. Like they've been playing since like. I mean, I know it seems like Braun has been in a Laker uniform for a minute. It's been like 4 or 5 years, but like they really started their careers battling with Braun in the conference finals, bro. So like when you think about that and then getting to the finals last year and losing, like they've all grown up and seen the fight together. And I just think now, who the general manager is now that it's not
the former coach
Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens is doing a great job putting role players around them now that are just filling in the gaps now. And I don't even think Danilo Gallinari is playing for them yet.
Towards ACL,
Yeah, so like, I mean, it's just chemistry, and then also, having an MVP candidate helps a lot, obviously. I feel like Jason makes everybody's job easier, and he's starting to make that extra pass now to make his job even easier with finding teammates. And it's like I said, the number one thing chemistry wise, I just think that's off the charts. And then their defense too. I've seen them lock up in games when they need stops, and it looks good. So Boston number one. I could see that for sure.
And I agree with you. And then just to kind of piggyback off of that, health is also the biggest thing, and there's been a lot of teams I've seen in the East and Western Conference where players have kind of been in and out the lineup. Obviously, they haven't been with Robert Williams, but Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been relatively pretty healthy with that core group as well.
Yep.
I was kind of shocked that they were going to be 21-5 just because they brought in that new head coach to replace Ime Udoka. But like you said, they've been together and been battle tested for such a long time. So they're kind of just picking up from where they left off at. And then I think, I don't know if Ime Udoka's behind the scenes because of everything that kind of happened to him, but obviously their coach, I can't think of his name. You know his name?
No. And I was going to ask you how how important is coaching in the NBA today, do you think?
I think it's extremely important, but I feel like picture like an intern learning, from, whoever in the business the whole time. They're constantly soaking knowledge, and he was an assistant under them as well too. So I'm sure he's he's had this whole off season to kind of figure out what works, what didn't work, and what didn't work, he's going to improve on that. So I think it's definitely important. I think it's just one of those things where it's kind of like a Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr situation. Gotcha. You obviously players taking upon themselves to improve, but you add a little bit of more sprinkle into what was already successful, and you kind of roll with that as well too. Gotcha. Now the biggest test I think what we're going to see is in the playoffs when you're playing game planning against one team for 2 weeks. Yep. What adjustments are you going to make at halftime, and what adjustments are you going to make game by game as well too? So that's the biggest thing that I'm kind of worried about. But other than that, like these players were 2 games away from winning the championship. Yep. So that's all that's on their mind. That's all they hear from the tabloids, from social media, when they walk on the street, in the stands, everywhere they go. Yep. Damn, you'll get back, or damn, you could have made that. So I know they're motivated right now, honestly, as well too. So with that being said, with the Celtics, man, would you say that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are the best duo in the NBA currently right now?
Best duo in the NBA. I mean, right now, yeah. But I would say this, though, always. Okay. A healthy LeBron and AD is the best duo in the NBA, bro. I'm sorry. It is. I'm sorry.
Even with LeBron at this advanced age? Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I mean, that's a tough one because LeBron, like, obviously he's taking a step back from a defensive standpoint, but he really has no flaw in his game from the offensive standpoint. He's always going to be that playmaker, and AD's always dominant, but if we're just going off of this season, definitely go with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum,
for sure.
Best two-way wings, and they're young, and they stay healthy. So I really like that as well too. And then with the Celtics, I mean, who do you think are their biggest threats? In the Eastern Conference as they embark on this journey to try to stay afloat.
Yeah, for me, it's always going to be Milwaukee and Cleveland. I'm going to keep banging on this door because I know they're going to be there at the end, man. I think Milwaukee, obviously, because of Giannis, he's freaking, and I mean, their whole team's good, but like he's the player that, again, when it comes down to like, okay, I have a great player and then Boston has a great player, I'm gonna take Giannis over Jason in a playoff series situation, and I think that can still be their Achilles heel, like when it comes to getting back to the finals. I really like Cleveland guard play, and that's why I continue to talk about them, because I feel like in a playoff situation, like it's about how many good shots can you get versus the other team, in their defense. And Boston's defense is really, really good, but to have, good guard play helps you, alleviate that in a way, and like attack matchups, things like that in that nature. And I think ultimately Boston would beat Cleveland in a 7-game series, but I think they would keep it interesting. But those are my 2 teams out east that give me pause. And then, I mean, I hate it because I always want to give Joel Embiid love, but they're never healthy enough. So
it's that Doc Rivers effect, man.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Milwaukee Bucks first and foremost, and we're going to talk about a little bit later with Chris Middleton's return. Giannis literally took them 7 games last year with no Chris Middleton, up 3-2. So I imagine times where they needed to close, he would have been right there. Times to kind of neutralize Jaylen Brown's scoring production, Chris Middleton could have been like that as well too, especially in Pfizer Arena. I don't know if you looked at the stats on Chris Middleton in the Pfizer Arena, he'd be looking like Michael Jordan. That joint be kind of crazy. I do like the Cavs just off the simple fact that they have a dog in Donovan Mitchell that's been in the playoffs and played in high leverage moments as well too. And I like their length as well too. And I feel like their length would definitely bother Boston a little bit as well too. But the fact that they all haven't been there together as a tandem in the playoffs, I think that's going to be their Achilles heel. Right. I'm curious to see how their coach as well too adjusts as well. And then as much as I love that backcourt, they only 6 feet 6'1", and they're not the most defensively gifted, or they don't give that much effort on the defensive end as well too. So like you said, it comes down to can you play defense? Can you score in the half court? And then when you're in the half court, when you get that switch, what you gonna do with it? And I think both of them can do a great job, but I just think that Boston, like you said, is the superior team from the defensive standpoint. So they're gonna, I think, at the end of the day, get better shot selections and then get easy points in transition as well too. So that's gonna be interesting. And I also think, and we talked about that before we start recording, I mean, even though the Nets got swept last year, all the games are relatively pretty close. And like, I don't even take anything from the regular season as well too. That felt like a playoff game. They both had 8-man rotation, pretty much went down to the wire. You know, if KD don't have that much turnovers or Kyrie just plays a little bit better, who knows how it would have went. But Ben Simmons didn't play. Ben Simmons been playing relatively well as of late. That's another body that you can add to Jason Tatum and also to Jaylen Brown as well too, to at least help make the shots a little bit more difficult. And a lot of times KD's bringing the ball up the court. That's Ben bringing the ball up the court as well too. So I feel like if you put him in the mix, he's relatively pretty healthy. They still need another big because Claxton's not. He's solid, but they need someone else. And I feel like there's still a player like a Dwight Howard, like a DeMarcus Cousins out there as well too. So if they can get one of them and try to potentially trade for like another 3-and-D, I think they're in the mix too. And I'm never, ever, ever going to count out the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, you can consider that their biggest rival these past couple of years as well too, given the bubble history obviously, and then given this past postseason run as well too. I know it's been a little shaky. Jimmy been out the lineup, Tyler Hero been out the lineup, Kyle Lowry been out the lineup, Bam been out the lineup, but I feel like once they finally get healthy,
that's a lot.
Exactly.
You just said
exactly been out the lineup. It's early. Only a game or two outside of 500. They're going to make that run, and that's going to be a scary team, I think, for them as well too, just from an X and O standpoint as well. But
okay. So would you take Brooklyn before Cleveland as a contender?
Just off of KD being the god, yes.
Okay,
I'm taking them.
Okay.
In the 7 games, that would be a lit ass 7-game series. But I'm taking Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, and those role players over them in 7 games. They'll probably go 7 games, but I'll take them.
Got you.
You taking Cleveland?
Yeah.
Well, we might have to make another bet if they're all healthy.
Yeah, I'm a believer. I don't know why. I just like their team.
I like them too, but I just feel like something's missing. I don't know. And I've seen a lot of games this year. Granted, they have a great record, but a lot of their games they lost. You can tell like they felt like they were playing like a young team. They didn't know how to close, but we'll see what happens with that as well too. My boy Anthony Davis, man, let me pull up Basketball Reference right now. Anthony Davis.
This how you should have been playing, boy.
My boy played 21 games out of, let me click this hyperlink right here, out of 24 games, Terrence.
Good.
He got to play 49 more games?
I want him to play the games. I want to lose the bet. I really do. I want 80 on the floor. I want him on the floor.
So AD's played 21 out of 24 games, and he's having a monster year. 27 points per game, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 52% from the field as well too. Man, what are your thoughts on AD this year? And can you argue, I guess, just off of this season alone, he's a top 5 player?
First of all, I love it. I think I don't know what is getting into him. I keep seeing these articles about him and these discussions he's having with Aaron Rodgers. Don't really know what that is doing to his confidence, but it seems to be like giving him some extra oomph, and that's what we need. Like, we not 55 and 40 points. We just need him to be like, I'm getting 30 tonight, or I'm going to average 28 and 12 and 3 blocks, like, because he can do it. And if we start there, the Lakers can go so much farther with him knowing he's the number 1 option. And that's how he's been playing as of late. Obviously he's dealing with the flu right now. He's trying to get over that, but they need him. Like, they need to come back quick, because you can't lose 2-3 more games in a row and mess up the momentum. But him being a top 5 player, he's a top 5 talent for sure.
Just this season.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, this season, is he playing like one of the 5 best players in the league? Yes. as of recently, because the first 10 games of the season he wasn't playing like this. So I'll give it to him right now. Yes, he's playing like a top 5 player. Just won Western Conference Player of the Week. So I think he just again needs to find that consistency and that balance of being like, hey, I'm the number one player for the Lakers, and going forward, continue to be that top 5 talent.
Yeah, I think I didn't even know about that Aaron Rodgers whole situation. I just remember they played the Bucks and Aaron Rodgers happened to probably be at the game, but that's kind of crazy. If they did have a conversation, something kind of just clicked as well too. But the biggest thing is health. He's finally healthy, at least from what it seems like. I mean, we look at last season, only played 40 games. The game before that played 36 games. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like he's finally healthy. I think what I attribute to him starting off from a slow start was he had to get used to his new body frame. And since he's been off for so long, he had to get back in shape as well too. But I think another thing that kind of clicked with him is he's probably like, damn, like I know this roster isn't the best. So I'm just going to have to do more, especially LeBron James in and out the line. So I think with LeBron James being out for that limited time, it was kind of a blessing in disguise. And they finally figured out, at least from a coaching standpoint, that you're going to have to play through 80. If you play through 80, then everything else will kind of fall in line. And I think he can continue this if he stays healthy. I know every time we watch a game, he's wincing at something. I get a little nervous. I always check before the game start if he's playing or not. Be getting ready to text you, be like, "Fuck, I got this many games, that many games." But I think this year he's a top 5 player for sure. No one's really stopping him from this year. I mean, would you consider him? I know it's positionless, but would you consider him a center, power forward, or do we just scratch it off and say big? Like, how does that even work in today's society, in the NBA world?
I call him like today's center. Him, Giannis, Joel Embiid. Jokic.
So Giannis a center?
Huh?
Giannis a center?
Yeah, to me. I look at Giannis as like, he's Shaq.
Okay. That's interesting as well, too. Okay.
Like, I've seen point centers. I mean, we got Jokic, like, you could dribble and, get to the lane and get to the cup. Well, I was going to say something else, and then I forgot.
If it comes back, let me know. But I will say this. Yeah, top 5 player this year for sure.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, okay, so of the 5, we talking Luka Doncic. We talking
this
Jason
season.
Tatum.
We're going off of this season, yes.
Yeah. We're talking, is Joel Embiid in there?
This year?
Okay, I'm just asking.
No.
Okay, all right. So, who else am I forgetting?
I'm going with Luka. I'm going with Giannis. Okay. I'm going with Tatum. I'm going with Kevin Durant. I'm going with AD.
That was 6, I thought.
Luka.
Yeah.
Giannis.
Yep.
AD.
Oh, okay. You said Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant.
And Kate, and you messing me up now. Wait, Luka, Giannis, KD, Tatum, AD. 5.
Okay. All right, cool.
Those are my 5 this year. That's my 5 this year, too.
All right, cool.
And I know last year, it was a little weird. Like, basically, the whole narrative was center versus center, Joker versus Embiid. Obviously, Embiid got a little hurt towards the end of the year, so they kind of gave it to Joker, but Joker played out his mind. But what I'm trying to say is Joker had the 6th seed last year and won the MVP. I know it's narrative-based. Who knows, man? If AD can continue this crazy stretch with given the talent that's around him, if he get the 6th seed, I can see a situation where he may finish as either the MVP or a front runner for that as well, for sure.
They're going to give it to Jason Tatum.
It's still early.
I'm telling you.
You think so?
Watch.
It's so early. But staying on for the Lakers as well, too, since you are the Lakers inside scoop, man.
You know it's.
They're 13th in the West right now at 10-14. They were just 10-12. Honestly, if AD didn't have flu-like symptoms, they would have won the last 2 games.
Bad.
So they should have been, 12-12? Honestly, that would have been lit. But right now, they're 13th in the West. They're 10-14. And they're only 6 games out of first place. The West is really spotty this year. Do you think with AD's dominance, LeBron finally looking healthy, Russell Westbrook coming off the bench and accepting his role and thriving in his role, and then the addition of Thomas Bryant and the addition of Dennis Schroeder, do you think that they can make the playoffs this year?
Yeah, they'll be a playing team though, and that's with LeBron and AD on the court full time. And I mean, like, by playing team, I mean that means you could be a 7th seed, and 7th seed sometimes is good. But like, yeah, I think they'll be a playing team. But I'll be there to watch it. I'm glad Anthony Davis has given us this jolt of energy to even continue watching the games.
Facts.
Because at a certain time, I was done watching them. So now, we'll see what happens. But yeah, playoff team for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you as well too. I think they're gonna be a playing team and just find their way to kind of make it to the playoffs. And I mean, honestly, LeBron's still in a 7-game series with a fully healthy squad. He's gonna at least go to 7 games in my opinion as well too. But I feel like there's gonna come a point in time where Utah kind of falls off. I think Portland's gonna eventually fall off, and possibly the Sacramento Kings as well too. So I think that will leave a spot there, but we're gonna see.
Yeah, and we also obviously have to see what happens after this. I think the December 15th deadline of
trading,
of the new contracts wearing off, or not wearing off, but like they become trade eligible. So I think once that passes and we see what the Lakers want to do with that, because my 7C projection is thinking that they are going to go find some shooting, because they're not going to beat teams in the games that they need to win to get to the play-in without shooting, and they can't shoot right now. They still can't shoot. I'm seeing Dennis Schroeder and Patrick Beverley on the court starting the game. That's not going to get it done.
I think Pat Beverley get traded.
Yeah, I don't know why THT is gone, but hey, that's not my job. That's Rob Pelinka's.
Yeah, I think it was more so like that you just needed that dog on that team to kind of get on everybody and tell them where to be from a defensive standpoint. But shout out to Lonnie Walker, old Spur, so I got to show some love. But at first I was kind of talking shit about you, but you've been playing some damn good basketball, especially being in a high leverage situation under the Lakers organization. You've been doing very well, so shout out to you.
Yeah, he's that player that's, on a LeBron team, there's always a player that's open, because you're either getting doubled by LeBron or by AD, and he's hitting those shots or making those plays, making cuts to the basket to get shots. So he's really benefiting from both of those two players.
Well, it looks like Kawhi Leonard and I call him Peg Leg Leonard or Mr. PTO, whatever you want to call him as well too.
Yo, Mr. PTO, that's a good one.
Mr. PTO is pretty good too. But Kawhi Leonard, my favorite player, and Paul George are finally, it seems like, knock on wood, healthy in the mix, can string some games along together. Right now, the Clippers are 9th in the West, only 3 games out of first place at 14-12. They may be 14-13 and 4 games out, because I think they just lost to the Miami Heat back-to-back. Kawhi didn't play, but PG did, I think. And obviously, kind of just watching the Boston Celtics play, it's just like, damn, with Tatum and Brown, like, this is what I wanted to, see from Kawhi and PG. Obviously, we kind of saw that, the year they first got acquired together, had a good winning record. Bubble happened, weird year. Next year, they were on pace to get to the finals. Kawhi tears ACL. Then last year is a wasted season. How much pressure do you think is on them, and do you think they are still contenders, right now for this season?
They're always going to be contenders, but as much as about pressure, I don't think there's any pressure on them at all. I think people. I mean, the narrative the first year AD got to LA was like Battle of LA, and there was pressure on both teams. I don't think that there's been as much pressure on either. I mean, you could say there's always pressure on the Lakers, but there has not been as much pressure for the Clippers to show that they're the best team in LA really since the Lakers championship, to me, because now they're not as good. And I feel like, I mean, as a Clipper fan or a Kawhi Leonard fan, there you have your internal pressure, like, oh my God, you need to perform. But Kawhi takes way too many games off for me to think that he thinks that there's pressure on him and his legacy. And Paul George, I mean, obviously he's the one player on that team whose legacy is solidified, also wants to add a championship to it. I think that drives his motive to continue to play for the Clippers. But I don't think there's a lot of pressure. I think that they're naturally a contender because their team's good and they're built to win. But I think all the pressure is more so on the East this year than anything.
Yeah, the West is kind of, like I said, up in the air. Just it's very janky right now. I think there is some pressure as well too, because if you don't do nothing this year, and you're the owner, Steve Ballmer, it's just like, yo, I spent all this money. I'm building a new fucking stadium right across
which is
the
really nice.
SoFi, and it's just like, I want my return on my investment. Like, what y'all doing? I literally giving y'all everything. He got all the two-way wings and forwards that they need. They got a nice big and Zubac to developing this other guy. Like, they have everything they need. So it's really on PG and Kawhi.
You better ship them before it's too late. I'm trying to tell you.
So we're going to see. But like you said, ACL injury takes a while to kind of get back. So I'm not really going to judge Kawhi until probably like close to playoff time as well, too. So hopefully him, PG, and the Clippers can at least get 30 games under them, and we'll see what happens there, too. Because I feel like right now the West is kind of wide open with all this uncertainty.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, though. How let's say they lose again this year. How many more times do you want to see Kawhi and Paul George running back?
I mean, granted Kawhi's 31 and PG's 31.
Yeah.
They never broke up Tatum and JB. Granted, they're young, but they've always kept basically that same pairing together with a little bit of the core and just intermix, you know.
You giving me a long answer. How many years you want to see it?
Until their contract ride out.
Which is what? How many they got?
I
3
think they
years?
got 3 more years after that.
You want to see it for 3 more years?
I think so.
You think they'll be competitive?
I think so. I think they can be.
All right.
But we're going to see. I'd say 2. 2 more. Because after that, it's just like, what the heck?
Okay.
So 2 more years, I think they got a window of trying to perform at a high level and potentially, you know, win the championship for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of a team as well, too, you know, CP3 returned from his heel injury, 37 years of age. He only played 11 out of 25 games. I'm thinking it's because that he was actually hurt and not some internal problems at home. I'm kidding. But averaging 9 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds. How do you feel about his return? Do you think, you know, he's going to give Devin Booker and that organization that added boost to, you know, continue to stay afloat? Because they were just number 1. And we're going to talk about this right after the Pelicans being number 1. But what are your thoughts for the Clippers? I mean, not for the Clippers, for the Suns. And do you think that their window has closed?
I mean, their window hasn't closed because they're still a high seed. But I will say this, though. I think, and this could be disrespectful, but like, I think at some point the voices in the locker room might be getting a little old on the Chris Paul side of things. Not to say that Chris Paul is not like obviously successful in being that voice in the locker room, but like, I think when you look at Chris Paul stops, they've been short with James Harden, for example. Like that was a
Injury.
that was a situation where James Harden didn't want to play with Chris Paul. Then it seemed like OKC was cool with it. You know, they was like, oh, like we're gonna go do this bubble thing real quick, and Shy's getting off, and like we got Shooter, and like they didn't seem to have a problem with Chris Paul, but they still moved him.
Yeah,
because they were, I guess the organization was going a different direction with the draft picks. But now it seems like I've seen some games like on primetime when the Suns are playing, and like they have Chris on the bench in the fourth quarter. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Okay, so like it seems as though that, I'm not trying to say Monty is like waning Chris Paul off like the best lineup or the finishing lineup or anything like that, but like I think as time continues to go in the season, I do think that like his impact will not be as big as it was his first 2 years there.
I mean, I agree with you as well too. I mean, the motherfucker's like 37, 38 years old.
Yeah.
He may have pulled off the heist of a while, just taking that money as well too. Yeah. There's such different levels of tiers of teams that Chris Paul, given his tenure in the NBA, like he's gonna be successful as well too. But like you said, like he's getting old now, and if we learn anything about the playoff basketball, you're gonna get exposed. Now he's supposed to be the point guard, is going to be the weakest link on the court as well too. So I don't think they're going to get to where they want to be because he's such a liability now as well too. So that's even more added pressure on Booker. Plus, you got Cam Johnson with that torn meniscus. His contract up. We don't know where he's going to end up as well, too. Jay Crowder's not in the mix as well.
They better re-sign him.
They have to.
Be a restricted
they
free
have
agent
to.
for sure.
But when you look at that core with Bridges, Ayton, Booker, and Cam with their coach, and you just sprinkle in some pieces, that's nice. Now, I kind of agree with you. I mean, you didn't necessarily say it, but I thought you were going to allude to it. I would trade Chris Paul, dog.
Okay.
I would trade his ass. Like right now. I mean, he only played 11 out of 25 games. Yeah. Booker been carrying them. With that squad, with their system, he's been carrying them. He just needs another dog with him, kind of like how Luka needs another dog with him right now. And I think he can at least get to a conference finals or second round conference final, maybe finals every single year, or at least be in that conversation. But with this Chris Paul, I don't know. My trade suggestion was I wish I still kept that trade machine and whatnot, and I can't find the actual link because, like you said, it's not till in a couple weeks December with the 15th. Whole trade situation. But I was like, I don't know what Toronto kind of wants to do right now. Give me for salary matching Fred VanVleet and Otto Porter Jr. for Chris Paul draft picks, and I'm kind of cool with that. How do you feel about Fred VanVleet pairing with Devin Booker? Is that good enough?
I mean, it would definitely be an energy boost. I just don't see Toronto doing that though.
You don't think so? You think they stay intact?
Yeah, I think that they're staying young.
Because I'm just like, all right, Fred VanVleet contract probably coming up. They probably don't want to re-up with him.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not privy to his contract situation, so I'm not exactly sure. But maybe.
Yeah, I mean, who knows as well too. But I think as long as Chris Paul is on that team, they have no championship window anymore. They should have won that shit 2 seasons ago, cemented, boom, whatever. But I think it's over, dog.
Yeah,
I think it's over. Or it could be some shit where it's kind of like the Miami Heat last year. Like, obviously, we know the Heat's a good team. They're always going to compete. You're going to go at least 6-7 games with them. But the Heat had an easy path to get to the conference finals last year because of the seeding. I think first round they played. I can't remember who they played the first round. But I think the first round they played the Hawks. Second round they played the 76ers, and obviously Harden won where he was, and then Embiid I think missed like 2 games, and obviously they played the Celtics. So it could be a situation where they dodge a lot of teams statistically or from a X and O standpoint, and they find themselves there. But not with CP3. I mean, think that would the snake.
That would be the organization to me that would take on a Chris Paul. Would be an organization like Miami.
Yeah, a perfect pairing though I think would be like De'Aaron Fox to go along with him, or like Shy. That would be fire, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, Chris Middleton returned. I mean, he's only played 3 games. Obviously, he had his whole knee injury in the playoffs. And who knows? Maybe the Bucks will be reigning, champions right now. And obviously, like early on in the season, he had a wrist injury, but he came back, played 3 games. So obviously, he's not where he needs to be right now. 12 points per game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 37% from the field, 31% from the free throw line. It's going to take time. But what are your thoughts on Middleton coming back? And Giannis, having his big 3 back.
I'm excited. I think anytime a great player on a contending team comes back, it's just a better product from the NBA. And then also just you want to see Giannis at full strength because his dynasty is, or not his dynasty, but his legacy is still being built. So you want him to be able to be at full strength so he can continue to write that. Chris, I really do like his game. He's still one of the people or one of the players in the league that still takes that mid-range jumper. And, he's a smart player, and he's definitely going to help Milwaukee win games. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. No, I would have to agree with you as well, too. You finally got that closer back in Chris Middleton as well, too, and that extra added playmaker to go along with Giannis and really just hide Giannis's deficiencies as well, too. And obviously, Giannis wants to play a lot of games nowadays, but it looks like I've noticed with the lesser team back-to-backs, he's sitting out. So that's where you can kind of insert Chris Middleton and really give him as much run and as much attempts as he can to kind of get back in shape as well, too. But like I said, if he's fully healthy, with that roster they have, and like you said, there's still moves to be made. I don't see a scenario why they can't go back to the finals and win another championship as well, too. So I'm happy he's back. hopefully he stays healthy because, like you said, as from a fan standpoint, we want to see the best of the best kind of go at it fully healthy, as well too. Pelicans, man, they're number one in the West right now. They're 16-8 right now in the Western Conference.
Yes.
They're on a 5-game win streak. They have 7 players that are in double digits right now. They're number 5 in points per game, so one of the best potent offensive in the NBA. Top 5 in field goal percentage, and second behind Boston in point differential at 6.9 points per game. Obviously, Zion's averaging 24, 7, and 4. Ingram's averaging 25 and 5. CJ's averaging 17, 5 and 6. But what's crazy is Zion's only played 19 out of 24 games. Ingram's missed 10 games. CJ missed 4 games as well too. What are your thoughts on the Pelicans, season this year, and kind of like what we had with our last episode when we had a topic on, the Cavs being contenders or pretenders. What are your thoughts on them this year with a lot of uncertainty in the Western Conference?
Yeah, I'm first and foremost as a basketball fan, I'm glad that Zion is on the court. I think he makes them contenders for me because he's to me one of the handful of players in the league that's unguardable to me, one-on-one. And everything else that they have in their offense, CJ McCollum, and then also BI, it just gives them. And then there's another player. He's like a 3-and-D guy. Shoots the 3 well. I think he just got drafted maybe a year or 2 ago.
He's pretty tall, right?
Yeah,
I forget his name as well too.
But he's playing well as well. So I think
Trey Murphy.
Yep, Trey Murphy. Yeah, that was a great draft pick by them. I think, and again, that's
Herb
David,
Jones playing good too.
That's David Griffin. That's back in them Cavalier days when I would think about LeBron having these great pieces around him. He's gonna do the same thing for Zion, and I think the Pelicans. Yeah, I think they're real deal. I think not 1 seed real deal, but I do think that they'll get into the playoffs, make some noise, so long as Zion stays healthy.
Yeah. And like with the uncertainty right now in the Western Conference, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up with the number 1 seed in the Western Conference and everything kind of just goes through their arena, honestly.
Okay.
Last year they got a taste of, being in the playoffs as well too. You got CJ there who came halfway midway through the season, and then Ingram who, played with Kobe, played with Bron, absorbed all that in, work ethic's crazy. And he's that playoff type of player who's going to perform at an even higher level, take it to another level. So they have a great mesh of veterans with young talent, and they may have one of the best benches in the league as well too. And with the playoffs, it's about, if you take away X's and O's and all that other good stuff as well too, it's about who's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have 8, 9 players deep, it's going to be very, very scary as well too. But I'm curious to see. I know what CJ is going to do in the playoffs. I know what Ingram's going to do in the playoffs. What's Zion going to do? Because in the playoffs, that's when they expose all your weaknesses. So it's going to be interesting to see how he is in the playoffs. So knock on wood, I want to see that.
I'll say this too, though. His ball handling and his skills seem to be progressing because I'm seeing him catch the ball from top of the key, make a few dribble moves to get past his defender, and it seems like he's starting to develop that piece of his game. From what you said about the weaknesses, though, it's definitely going to be like that jump shot and like packing the lane, doing what people do to Giannis. But, we'll see. We'll see if he can develop that. I don't expect it this year, but I'll expect it, work on that in the summer of this year and then come back next year ready to go.
My dream matchup, whether it's in the first round, second round, conference finals, I would love to see the Pelicans go up against Memphis. Because last year, Memphis was the talk of the town, right? And now this year, it looks like it's the Pelicans.
Yeah,
that would be a fire-ass matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be exciting. Obviously, you got the former number 1 and number 2 pick too, and that'd be a great story.
I forgot they were both in the same draft as well. That's crazy. When we were last here, we were talking about, why are the Warriors still struggling? What do you think we attribute it to? X, Y, and Z. They're 13-13 right now, Terrence.
Yeah.
They're 11-2 at home and 2-11 on the road. What do you attribute to the Warriors still struggling right now? Like, Clay's been playing better, Jordan Poole's been playing better, but like, what is going on? Like, has the league caught up to them? Are they really, missing Otto Porter so much? And what's that other guy's name? what's his
You
name?
gotta do that, then it probably ain't that.
Nah, Gary Payton
Gary
second.
Payton,
Like,
yeah.
are they missing them two so much? Like, what's going on? You would think it's kind of like football where you kind of had that championship hangover. Like, I don't know if I won a championship and I felt like I knew what it kind of tastes like. I want to get back to that, and that's what I was solely motivated on. But like, what do you think is happening with the Golden State right now? And you think they can turn it around?
Yeah, I'm still gonna stick with my original point of that they've made these draft picks. They made not even that. I think Draymond and Poole have squashed that.
Yeah.
But I do think that there are these picks that
Oh,
they
and I'm
made.
sorry for cutting you off. I was wrong about disrespecting Kuminga a few episodes back. I fuck with Kuminga. He's good.
Okay.
But Wiseman, I don't know.
So that's the thing, right? You've got Kuminga, you've got James Wiseman, and you've got Moody. These are great draft picks and would be players that would contribute on any other team's high professional, picks. And we're not talking about wanting to be role players. We're talking about players who are drafted number 2, and like I think Kuminga was like a top 5, top 6 pick. These are players who are striving to get $100+ million contracts. And if there are players that are in front of them that have been in front of them for the last 2 years, there's going to be some animosity that's going to build, because in order for you to get $100+ million contract, you gotta be making like all NBA third team, second team, like first team, like, and you can't do that when Draymond Green is in there and fucking what's his name, fucking Kevon Looney. So that animosity, even though we winning chips, that's great for the owners and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green's legacy, but it's not good for your contract aspirations. And I don't care. These players want to get paid. So I think that part is starting to eat at the ultimate, what the Golden State Warriors have done so well for so long, is that
strength in numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not. I don't think that their future players, care about that. They want the bread, because Steph, Klay, and Draymond have already got paid. So
I mean, we see these other, like you said, these other players from the draft class getting paid on lesser teams. Getting more experience. Therefore, they've seen everything, so they can up their game. It's just like, damn. But yeah, I would try to get paid as well too. It kind of reminds me when Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward came back into the mix with the Boston Celtics, because you could argue that was one of the best rosters assembled. They had Kyrie, Tatum, Brown, Marcus Morris Sr., Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward.
Yeah,
the list goes on and on. Terry Rozier, and
too much,
because it was too much talent.
Only one ball.
Injuries, people came back. People needed to get paid. It just never worked out as well too. So that could be something that this year, and I didn't really think about that too. Yeah,
it's a business first, It's a business first, and these players, they want the Nike deals, they want the commercials, they want the girls. So
because the mindset is winning solves everything, but like you said, if you're just a high level role player on a championship team, you ain't getting shit.
Right. Yep. I mean, look. That's why Gary Payton left. You can win all you want. Already, yeah. You can win all you want, but
Otto Porter too.
They want to get paid. So
yeah, so that's gonna be tough as well. You think they're gonna find a way to get back to the finals?
I don't think so. No, I don't think they're gonna go back to the finals. I think
you were so high on them a couple episodes ago too.
Well, yeah, I do think that at the end of the day, like, you need to have a top 4 seed to get into to get there.
Yeah, I agree. But what's good is they're not far off from first place as well too. Like I said, it's a very, very interesting gray area kind of year for the Western Conference. And right now, I mean, they're in 10th place at 13-13, but they're only 4 games out of first place. So
yeah,
flip could switch. Maybe the schedule looks a little easy. Actually, the schedule's kind of crazy coming up right now. Actually, on their schedule, they got Boston next, and then I think after that they got like the Clippers and I think Utah again, X, Y, Z. But and the Bucks, like a lot of playoff teams, so
yeah,
they're gonna be tested, and it's gonna be interesting as well too. But this might be a year where they like
the way they playing on the road right now, I mean, I know it's still a good enough sample size, but like you said, trades need to be made. People been out the lineup. Wiseman just got signed to G League. He might be coming back. It might be a year where they just 44 and 38 on some nasty shit, dog. I don't know, but if I invested money into them, I'm taking that out and putting it elsewhere because I don't, like you said, I think for them to get far, they need a top 2 seed. They got to go through Oracle. If they don't go through Oracle, it's over.
Exactly.
So it's going to be interesting. Who do you think the most slept on player is in the NBA right now?
So I thought about this. For me,
for you.
For me, it's Anthony Simons, bro.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think he is playing really, really ahead of schedule.
That's a great one.
Yeah, I think he's playing really ahead of schedule.
Kind of mad.
I think he's playing ahead of schedule for Portland, and I just think I knew he was good. Obviously, coming out of high school, he was good, but I didn't think his ceiling was as high as a scorer in the league, and he's. That's what happens when you play behind Damian Lillard for so long in practice and you get your chance to shine. But I think him and Shaedon Sharpe, I think, are going to be really, really good players for Portland for the foreseeable future. I think I can't remember a specific situation like this, but Anthony's situation is coming on a lot faster. But I still think Shaedon Sharpe is their player that's going to blossom after Damian Lillard. I think he's going to be their best player, but for now, Anthony looks better. But Anthony is the guy that I think is the most slept on in the league right now.
Great year, too. 25 points per game, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, shooting 44% from the field, 40% from free throw, 90% from the free throw line as well, too. And I think, was that him that had almost a 50 ball? He had 45 the other night too.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. We'll see. If they get to the playoffs, that's another guy that you gotta, that you're probably gonna lose sleep over. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. And shout out to Jeremy Grant as well too. Yeah, I really like what he's doing as well. Damn, you had a good one. I don't know if I can kind of compare with that, but I know that the league has been pushing for, or at least NBA TNT one, they kind of been pushing for Shy, but I feel like everyone knows he's him. He's just in a bad situation. So I'll probably Tyrese Halliburton. I like Tyrese Halliburton. He's averaging 19, 11, and 5, shooting 38% from the 3-point line, 47% from the field. And what's been good is he's kind of reminding me of a Chris Paul in a sense where he's just commanding that team. And kind of like Chris Paul's earlier years, you didn't really expect them to make noise, and they're in playoff contention right now as well too. And it kind of also makes me think damn, you want to keep Davion Mitchell and whatnot over him. You could have had Tyrese with Keegan Murray and De'Aaron Fox, but then again, you would have got Sabonis and whatnot as well too. So I like what he's doing there, and I think they need to start tanking because. They got him, Buddy Hield. They got Miles Turner, and then there's another dude who was busting Steph Curry ass the other day.
Oh, the guy from Gonzaga. Yeah,
tough.
Yeah,
tough.
I didn't see that either.
I was watching his highlights. I was like, yo, it's one of those things where it's we good, we gonna win. Tyrese ain't playing. Then they're like, oh, okay, he all right.
Yeah.
But Tyrese Halliburton will probably be my most slept on player for this upcoming season right now.
Okay.
Got a couple more topics here right now. So, agree or disagree? If we had to put in, or you can tell me yours too, top 5 MVP candidates. Obviously, Tatum will be there, best record in the NBA, giving you a 30 ball on a nightly basis, shooting 48% from the field, 37% from 3, 86 from the free throw line. Got to stamp that. Giannis, Middleton just came back, only played 3 games. Drew's kind of been in and out the lineup. Second best record in the NBA. 32, 11, 6, 55% from the field. Book. No Chris Paul just returned. Cam Johnson tore his meniscus. what's his name? Jay Crowder who was a huge part of their success these past couple seasons. They told him to stay calm. But he's averaging 28, 6, and 5. And before, this 2-3 game skid, they were number 1 in the Western Conference. Luka obviously dominating, looking like another version of Harden, 33, 9, and 9, shooting 50% from the field. And then I also have AD, just because of when you talk about value, if you take this person off the team, where are they? I think when you have AD playing at a peak level, they're at least a playing team. Take them off, they're a lottery team, even though y'all don't have a draft pick this upcoming season. But do you agree with those early MVP considerations? Is there anything that you would kind of change? Am I fucking up?
No. I think you're definitely in the same ballpark as me. When it comes to MVP, I always give
record would play.
No. I was gonna say I give priority to the player that if you took him off the team, they'd be a lottery team.
Okay.
Jason Tatum is in a tremendous situation. He not only was drafted by an organization that lives and breathes basketball, but has always had a capable general manager and has always put good pieces around him. And now it's just blossoming. In Luka's situation, he literally has to touch the ball in every possession.
Harden, bro.
He is what to me is the definition of valuable. And then same with AD. I look at them as in a different class of their own when it comes to voting. Giannis is obviously going to always be there because he's just a dominant player in the league, probably the most dominant player in the league, and his record is going to show for that. And then you said one more player, and I forgot. I think
I put Book. I think if you take Book off Phoenix, I don't know how good they are right now.
Yeah, I'm a Book hater. I don't know why.
What? Why?
I don't know why.
Just be talking too much shit.
Yeah, he just seems like the AAU coach's son to me. He's just always got that oh, well, I'm better than you. I don't know, but he's good. He's good, obviously. I'll give it to him, but he's definitely last on the list.
Yeah, well, hey, no, but
and he went to Kentucky, so I'm not rocking with that either.
No, I feel that as well too. So, would you keep those 5 there, or would you swap someone out? Would you swap Booker out? I thought you were gonna say Donovan Mitchell. You said
I was literally about to say that. I think somebody from that Cleveland Cavaliers team deserves some love, and I know Darius Garland gonna get them All-Star votes, so I'm good with that. But no, I'll keep it at that 5. Those 5 players.
Okay. No, I like that. I like that as well too. Nike came out with a statement about 3 days ago, and they officially cut ties with Brooklyn Nets guard Kyrie Irving. And obviously the move comes after Irving posted a Twitter link to documentary containing anti-Semitic messages in October and initially refused to issue an apology as well. Too, it looks like they pretty much had it with this guy. I mean, these past couple of years, we took a trip down memory lane. He didn't want to play in the bubble when Katie was out. He didn't want players to get their money and told them to leave the bubble. He took 2 weeks off randomly. He didn't want to get vaccinated. He called the whole media pawns. He posted the Heroes and Negroes video as well too. And then I forgot that last season when I forgot the number. You just nigga, you probably know the number of Kyries that came out last year. He basically went on social media and said, "Yo, these shit's trash." They have had it with this guy. Do you feel like this was warranted and whatnot? Because these are very popular shoes. I love the Kyries, but
yeah, we all do.
It just kind of sucks that they can still sell it how they sold Kobe's Crazy Eights and whatnot. It just kind of sucks. But what are your thoughts on all this, man?
I think I'm surprised Nike waited as long as they did. I think I would have thought that would have been a little bit more swift because usually in cancel culture, everybody just goes at the same time. You know what I mean? It's ESPN starts to release the stories and Adrian Wojnarowski, it's this and that. And there's rumbles in the Nets organization that he's not really liked right now. And you got all the social media hate all at the same time. And I just thought Nike would have cut ties then. But hey, maybe they just needed to do their own background investigating and just understood, had to ask some focus groups if, this is, good or not. And, they probably, have seen that over the past 3 years, his behavior has been erratic, and that's true. And at the end of the day, you know, Nike, and I'll give them this respect, they go for athletes that, you know, are true to their craft and remain athletes. They don't like, well, I don't want to say that, because I mean, Bron has definitely, you know, well, I was gonna say, not that they pick athletes that are just athletes and nothing else, because that's not true. I mean, but I think in Kyrie's specific situation, like, they saw like who he was to the kids differently. You know what I mean? Like it's different when you pick a signature athlete and like, oh, like everybody wants to be like Kyrie, everybody wants to dribble like Kyrie. Now it's Kyrie's talking about this and that, you know. So I think that's what changed things for them.
It's crazy because who's replacing them? Ja Morant is about to get his new signature Nike sneaker pretty soon. I don't know if it's going to be this year or probably going into next season, but how do you feel about that swap out?
I mean, honestly, Ja's cool, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I think it's also just a generational thing that's coming up.
Definitely is generational.
Like,
He's our AI for the kids.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, I think that we're getting older and the players that are coming in the league are getting younger. And it's like, I'm just not as connected with Ja as I was with Kyrie. So I think it'll just take some time and we'll see. But, you know, I'm going to miss the Kyries for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you can still cop them. I actually meant to send you a hyperlink on Nike. Mm-hmm. Looks like his shoes.
Yeah, the like clearance 40. Line going crazy.
I might copy
going crazy. The clearance line going crazy.
Should I cop one to get black tape and put freedom? I'm kidding.
Hey.
I'm kidding. Man. All right, well, you don't connect with Ja like that, obviously. Is there a player that doesn't have a signature sneaker right now that you want to have signature sneakers in the NBA that you think could do a good job at carrying?
No.
And not JT?
No.
Damn, not JT?
Jason isn't interesting to me.
Yeah, he is kind of he's great at basketball. He's a good looking guy, you know what I'm saying? He's marketable, but I feel like
I don't know much about him.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know much about Donovan Mitchell and Kawhi. They got their own sneakers.
Yeah, with Adidas. I'm not buying those. Adidas need to go get somebody after Nike is taking up everybody. But like,
I think Nike. I mean, Jordan's still under Nike, right?
Yes.
I feel like Luka should have been away from Jordan and had something. That would have been fire.
Yeah. I think that when it comes to these new age players and their personalities and their brands, like, there's nobody
that's don't really have.
Nobody's like come out to me. I mean, it seemed like for a little bit, Trae Young was kind of like,
he got his shoes though for Adidas, right?
True for Adidas. It seemed like he was kind of coming into his own image, like being that like most hated player in the Knicks, you know, being Ice Trae. But I don't know. You got to continue to win games. You got to continue to improve year over year for us to continue to care about your image. But no, I don't see I mean, Zion was a mega star coming out.
He has his own shoes too, right?
Yep. Yeah. He has his own shoe as well, but it's like,
yeah, I don't see that next person.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Last time before we kind of head out right now, obviously taking into consideration fan voting, media voting, and I think players voting. For the Western Conference, if you had a vote for your starting five, who would that starting five be? Not necessarily who deserves it, but just taking into consideration how it works from the political standpoint of voting.
Oh, okay.
So two backcourt, three front court.
Okay. All right. So I'm starting with the West Conference.
We'll go back and forth.
Okay. So at 5, okay, at 5 I'm gonna go with Jokic. At the 4, West. Let me pull up the Western Conference standings though. Hold on. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
So I don't really, like you said, we don't really say 4 and 5, right? So what I would vote / to also take into consideration the media, LeBron's going to be a starter. whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So LeBron's going to be there. Joker, AD. I think the Lakers have a crazy fan base to the point where they've seen him put that work in. They're going to vote for him. And then in the backcourt, it's going to be Luka, and I think it's going to be Steph Curry. Now, if I had to vote off of player performance, I'll probably put Luka with Booker in the backcourt. And in the front court, I'll probably go with still AD, still Joker. That other one, though, I mean, probably just off of record alone, I might go with Zion.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I would go with Jokic and AD as well. I think Zion, from a perspective of fan voting and overall popularity, will get to his first start this year. And LeBron will be in there as well, obviously, because he's never not been a starter. So then at the 2, it'd probably be either Devin Booker. Yeah. Either Devin Booker or Luka Doncic.
So no Steph?
Oof.
Yeah, come on, man. What? He's the Barack Obama of the NBA.
So, yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I don't...
Because I was also thinking Ja, but I'm like, who's more popular? Is Luka more popular than Ja?
Okay, well, then, nah. So I think Luka will come off the bench.
Ooh, so who's your backcourt?
It'd be Steph and LeBron.
But LeBron's gonna be front court though. You know that.
Okay, so is it gonna be Zion?
So front court, the 3 forwards, and then back court 2 guards. So who's your 2 guards you think that's gonna start?
Okay, I mean, I guess Steph and Luka then.
Okay, so over Ja.
Yeah,
Luka over Ja.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then your backcourt, Bron, Zion, and Joker.
Yeah, okay, and AD comes off the bench, I guess, but that's even backwards to me. But hey, I guess the way it works. The way it works, yeah.
And it's so weird. Like one year when I was voting for All Star, they had Devin Booker as front court. I mean, front court, and then he was back court. Same with PG, front court, back court. I'm like, yo, make up your mind.
Interesting.
Eastern Conference, who you got?
Okay, Eastern Conference. So again, I'm beating the drum on Cleveland, but I like Darius Garland at point guard position.
Okay.
And then at 2, at 3, I'll go Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
At the 4, I'm going Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the 5, I'm going Giannis. So then at the 2, that leaves the 2 guard open for me. Ugh. I mean, that 2 guard position, I don't know.
Drum roll. Who you got?
I mean, it would have to be fucking, no. Not Jimmy. It would have, Trae Young?
That's your 5?
Yeah. I mean, the East. Yeah, I don't see nobody at the 2 guard, even in the East. I mean, James Harden been out. Like, he not going to get the votes.
There's a reason why you don't see no one at the 2 guard, because you don't know if this person's classified as a 2 guard. Jaylen Brown's actually classified as a 2 guard.
You think they're going to put 2 Celtics in the starting lineup?
Hell yeah. Why wouldn't Jaylen Brown be in the starting backcourt? You already know Kyrie. They not voting for Kyrie. They're not voting for Darius Garland. They're going to vote for Donovan Mitchell. So it's going to be Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown in the backcourt, and in the front court, like you said, I agree with everything you said. Giannis, KD, and JT. And let's rock.
Okay.
I think because the reserves, the coaches vote for that, I think 100%. So I think off of what they see, what they have the game plan for, I think Kyrie. I like DeJounte Murray too. Yeah. I might take DeJounte Murray voting-wise over Darius Garland.
Okay.
And then you probably got Joel Embiid in there. It's still kind of early. They got a couple more weeks. But
who did you have at point guard in the East?
So it's just backcourt now. So they don't do they don't do point guard, shooting guard no more. So it's literally guards. It's been like that for like 4, maybe 5 years now.
So you said Jaylen Brown and who?
And Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
Dogs.
Okay.
And then JT front court with KD and Giannis.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah,
that
works.
With him. Okay. Cool, man. Any closing remarks for this episode?
Shout out to my baby Siobhan. You at the crib helping me with my furniture. I appreciate that. Shout out to my new neighborhood, Echo Park. Y'all don't wave back at people. I don't know how I feel about that, but hey, I'ma still be my Southern boy self and and wave at people and just try to be nice and neighborly. I thought that's what we do, but I guess not. And then obviously, like I said, always be thankful. This is a great wrap to the year. The holidays, be with your family. If you got any beef with your family, try to bury it. You know what I'm saying? And other than that, yeah, just be kind. Be kind to people.
I agree with everything that you said. There's no much else. There's no need to say anything else. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 123 of the Seezus Show featuring Terrence Whaley. You can follow him at Terrence Whaley _.
Yep.
Go barter as well too with 2 R's.
Yep. At the end.
At Sirseezus at TheSeezusShow. We are out.
Peace.